Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and knowledge, welcome to a one-of-a-kind experience that will take you on a captivating journey beyond our world. Today, we have a special treat for you as we sit down with the renowned Andromedan contactee, Alex Collier. Prepare yourself for a rapid-fire question and answer session that delves into the depths of cosmic wisdom and unveils the mysteries of the universe. As always, please remember to like this video and share it with your friends and family. That way, it gets seen by more truth seekers. So, without further ado, here are today's rapid-fire questions and answers.
Dear Alex, I so much appreciate your prior talks from the 90s that are now uploaded on YouTube. You spoke of the beings of Sirus B and their influence on us. Can you share more on Sirus B?
They were very instrumental in ancient history. They've come and gone for quite some time. They had a base not far off the coast of Hawaii for a great deal of time. They preferred to be underwater. They were very involved in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Babylon. I haven't heard them mentioned a great deal during the Sumerian period. There was some interaction with the ancient Indian culture in Asia. And, of course, their presence was known and remembered in parts of Africa, which, of course, is where Egypt is. There's a great book, I think it's called I haven't read it in 20 years. I think it was called The Sirius Connection. It's a book about the Dogon tribe of Africa. In fact, it was the Dogon tribe who told archaeologists and then eventually astronomers about where they came from. And, they had this oral tradition that they passed down, and they explained that they came from the dog star Sirius constellation. And they explained, I think that it was Sirus C and D. And the astronomers didn't even know that those particular stars were there yet. And I believe this was in 74, 72, 74, 76, somewhere in the period in the 70s. And lo and behold, they were able to buy some time on a telescope and discover that this very primitive Aboriginal group in Africa, the jungles of Africa, knew exactly what they were talking about. These ancient cultures knew stuff. The Sumerians knew exactly how many planets there were in our solar system. In fact, they described them in texts. In cuneiform, they describe our entire solar system from the outside in, including the colors of the planets, including the fact that Uranus was tipped on its side. They knew all of this, that they had rings. They knew all of this. Okay, so, having that little piece of information tells you that the history that's been passed down to us has been an absolute crock of shit. They simply have hidden everything about who we truly are from us. And, things that have spilled out was either a controlled leak or some form of disclosure, or they were so busy in the underground doing all this dastardly shit that they were doing to humanity that they didn't care. That they had reached a place where they had everything they wanted, never thinking that, eventually humanity would shift in consciousness and say, that's it, we're done with this shit. We're absolutely done. and that we would begin to change. And because, nature always finds a way, it always adapts and changes and to survive. And that is one of the strongest instincts we have in ourselves, is that survival gene, that survival instinct. And whether we're consciously aware of it or not, consciously, ladies and gentlemen, we're connected. We are all connected. And when a specific group gets this, the rest get it. This is called creating a domain of knowing, which the Yates talked about from the very beginning, which is what pulled together the Magna Carta, which is what was the impetus for the creation of the United States of America, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. These were all things humanity needed. And they eventually physically manifest. Okay, so that's a whole nother discussion as well.
Quantum gratitude to you, Alex and team. Would you speak about the beings that make up the Andromedan Council? Are there representatives of several densities? And would you share their roles? Also, you've mentioned third dimension Andromedans. Would you offer an example of how they fit in? Peace and awesomeness to you, to all, Anna.
Ms. Cote. My information regarding them is limited. The Andromedan Council involves primarily fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh density beings or consciousnesses. The third density Andromedans have a representative or two that attend, but they officially don't have a seat at the council. I do not understand the reasons for this. Now, the sixth and seventh density beings do not physically attend those meetings, but their presence does attend. And I can't explain how that is, but I think it has to do with the level of harmonic frequency between fourth and fifth, and then sixth, and then, of course, the massive jump to seventh, that they can only consciously be present, not physically, because of the difference in frequency variations. So it could be that they're there either through, I guess, their own form of mediumship or remote viewing. I don't know the actual word or the technology that is being used, but all the decisions that are made in this manner. I also know, and I was actually quite amazed to hear this, is that when they make decisions, each decision that they make regarding their civilizations is extended out 1,000 years in their linear time. That's how they look at this. So fourth and fifth density, if they're going to make a decision that affects the entire culture, whether it's in the Zenite system or around their stars, or those that are on motherships traveling, they extend that out 1,000 years in their own linear time. Now, how time is counted in fourth and fifth is different. It's not the same because their longevity is completely different because of their physical makeup. Sixth and seventh, it's like we can't even comprehend the age of these beings. So they do the same thing In their linear time, they go out approximately 1,000 years. That's pretty much all I know about it. I do know that they are greatly respected. They are greatly respected. And when they are invited to counsel with other groups, other councils, um, there is a great deal of mutual respect. Now, the same, I understand, can be said for Pleiadian councils, uh, Arcturian councils. There are many other councils, and the meetings are literally, or the councils are also multidimensional. They also hold their own councils. So, fourth entity will have their own council meetings. But whatever it is that they talk about and they decide is run up the ladder. So there is some form of communication. I don't know if chain of command is the appropriate expression, but they do share information because past changes future and future changes past. You see, one of the things that we humans are going to have to learn to deal with is the fact that time is not linear. And I cannot explain that to you because I simply don't have the language. But if you look at the idea that you yourself are multidimensional and you are experiencing different lifetimes simultaneously, you can understand and appreciate the extreme complexity of trying to explain that in English, which is a language that's very limited. So that's all I know. That's a great question, Noah. Thank you. I appreciate you asking that, Anna.
In your 1995 video, Breaking the Chains, you commented that the A's said we would shift into 5D December of 2013. Has Morane said anything about why that didn't happen?
Yeah, and I've shared that as well. There was an agreement for the reptilian races and the Orion group to leave. There was an agreement. And had they fulfilled that agreement, the consciousness and the energy frequency of the planet would have begun to have changed immediately. This agreement went back to 2003. And then they reneged. And not only did they renege, they doubled down on all their bullshit. Uh, which is why at one point Morane had actually expressed the idea of actually walking here, of being one of the original teams to announce their presence to the world. And if you go back in the notes, you'll see that, or in my talks. He talked about that. So yeah, the regressives not only reneged, but they doubled down on their suppression and enslavement of humanity. I do not know the reasons behind that. I do not know why they reneged. It could be that they never had any intentions of doing it. I simply don't know. I'm guessing that they had no intentions of ever actually going anywhere, because now there is this great deal of multidimensional intervention forcing them out of here. It's not like they've gone voluntarily. They're not. So now they're being forced out and have been forced out. At the time, I think I shared that everyone was extremely hopeful that they were actually going to keep their word. And, maybe during the talks or the negotiations, they had a consciousness of where, okay, we will do this. We will leave. Otherwise, I don't know why he would say it if he didn't feel it was there was some high level of sincerity. And then it just didn't, and suddenly everything just went south, and it changed. So that's all I know. That's all I know about that. And here we are. Now we're here. So that's all I got, Penny.
How do you view the future of royalty?
I don't know. Um, the future of royalty. Well, I think the acknowledgement should be that we're all royal. We're all royalty. We have the bloodline to prove it. We're the sum total, regardless of our blood type. We have we're all genetic royalty. So I simply don't believe that there will be genetic lines that are going to stand above and hold authority over humanity. I simply don't think that that's going to continue to exist here. I know that there's some element of that in the Pleiades still. I believe that there's still that in Orion and in Sirius, the Sirus B system. I'm not aware of it anywhere else. Uh, Imagine the issues we would solve if we were all royalty and we treated each other as such. There'd be no need for adoration. There'd be no need for worship. There would be no need to surrender our sovereignty to one specific being who then would declare they own all, they control all. There would be no need to ask for consent to fornicate, which is where a very specific word originated. Fornication under consent of the king. I'm sure you can figure it out. You're a pretty smart group. Okay. So I don't know. Everything's going to change. And the reason everything's going to change is we don't know who we are. As soon as we begin to realize who we are, once we are shown not only our history, but our present status and our potential, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change everything. We are. We're going to look at this and say, oh my God, we were all comfortably numb. We have all been kept comfortably numb. And once those blinders are off, once that realization of the box we've all been kept in, we are going to be not only spiritually unleashed, Our creativity will be unleashed. Our compassion and empathy and love for others will be unleashed without fear of being brutalized or being taken advantage of or wounded by others who are just assholes. In looking at the past, we should look at the past to learn what to not to do in the future. As far as the future, we have to be focused on who we're becoming. And who is that? Who is it that we're becoming? Who is it that we want to become? If you could imagine and envision your very best self, I mean your best self that's cool, okay, that's awesome, that's spectacular, that has all kinds of gifts, what would that look like? Don't think about, well, I'm 65 and 8. Don't even go there. Don't even go there. Who would you be if you literally could turn everything around right now and envision your very best self? Who would that be? How do you imagine yourself being? What would your frequency be?
I was told by a psychic that my soul originated in Andromeda but came here to Earth via Lyra. I know my soul has occupied various bodies belonging to other beings that were not human as I grew my consciousness. But I'm curious about the soul origination process. Your thoughts on this?
You know, I wish there was some way that I could tell you how you would know that for a fact. Uh, you know, if it had to been for Morine Faceus, if there hadn't been any contact, I would be in a very similar place. I would not know exactly my soul's origin as far as in a physical form. Our original our original origin is that from Creator, God, Isness, Great Spirit, Generator of Dimensions, God. You know, that's actually the point of origin of all our souls, our essences. Where we fell into time and in physicality would be the origin of our first physicality or physical lifetimes. Those are two actually very different things. The original creation of us from source is outside time and more than likely was outside this universe. I don't believe for a second we were created inside this universe. I believe we were created outside this universe. And then this space, which we call the physical universe, with all the dimensional planes, was then created. And then in entering this space, which is made up of time, space, uh, and all the other things that go with it, and coming into the space, we then fell into time and adapted physical forms. We probably started on 11 because that would be something we were the most, that would be the most familiar to us. And then we decided to uh, migrate down for each different lessons. And maybe some of us stopped, maybe some of us stopped at seventh or sixth or fifth or even fourth and didn't come into third. Those of us who are extremely brave or casually overconfident, fell into third density, where once we got here, we're like, holy shit, what did I do? And we've struggled to jump out of here, to evolve out of here because of its density. One day we'll know all that. One day we will know for sure about all of that and how it all works and processed, and we'll be awakened to our entire process of who we are and what we are and where we've been and our entire soul journey. And during that particular process of realizing it, don't forget your sweatshirt size, because there are sweatshirts that are going to be available to you in your size, and they will say, I survived Earth or I survived third density. You'll have your choice, and you want to be sure to get that. It'll be a conversation piece at some of the parties in other dimensions, because not everyone was brave enough to come down here. I jest, obviously. But, third density is not for the squeamish. That's for sure. That's for sure.
How do other races read our chains of thought? Is it technological or telepathy? Do you think they judge us when we think nasty thoughts about people in traffic or about co-workers, etc.?
The first question is, they can easily do it telepathically if they're telepathic. But if you're looking at the consciousness of a planet or a nation, you would use technology. To be able for one ET to monitor the thought process of an entire nation, their fuzzy little head would probably explode because of all the noise that they would have to subject themselves to. Because in most people, the subconscious is running amok, literally running amok. The judging, I think my only actual experience with anything remotely close to that was an experience where I was taken on board. Mornay came to get me. I was taken on board, and Visayas was watching television. And I have told the story in the past. And when I found out what he was doing, I told him that this is not a good idea ever. But he was watching a news program from Chicago, and a cop had shot a black man who had committed a crime or a murder or stole something. I'm not exactly sure what it was. And the cop shot him and then ran over and tried to save his life. They were, or I should say, Visayas was perplexed how he could make the decision to shoot him, to harm him, and then almost in the next breath do everything he could to save his life. They didn't understand the contradiction. So, did the act warrant the consequence of aggression? Which one of us has not had that internal dialogue ourselves? I don't know anything about them judging or thinking anyone's a bad person for having unharmonious thoughts. For them to do so, I think would show their own lack of experience. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to judge someone, you need to walk in their shoes. They don't walk in our shoes. They're not here. They're not in this physical realm dealing with this bullshit day in, day out, 24/7. They're just not. And I have expressed that more times than I can count to them. I've even offered to trade spaces with them, with Mornay. I said, look, you take my life for a short period of time and I'll take yours. We'll swap. He was not interested. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. So, what really matters is what we think of ourselves, not what they think. Again, what does it matter? Right? What does it matter? What matters is what we think of ourselves. We're the ones that have to change. We're the ones going through this transition. What really matters is what we think. Is that who we want to be? Or do we want to become something else? Something better, a better version of ourselves? What does that look like?
There you have it, fellow truth seekers. An enlightening and exhilarating rapid-fire question and answer session with the remarkable Alex Collier, sharing his profound encounters with the benevolent Andromedan extraterrestrial beings. As we continue on our cosmic journey, let us embrace the wisdom of the Andromedans and carry their message of love, unity, and compassion with us. Together, we can create a world where humanity stands united, ready to embrace the wonders that await us in the vast expanse of the universe. If you found this rapid-fire question and answer session fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating content like this. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Until next time, may the stars guide you on your path of enlightenment and exploration, and remember to always seek knowledge and stay curious. If you would like to see Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we host an online seminar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming online seminars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.